The Law and Order guy. What's his name?
I don't know.
I feel like it's Michael something. No, he looks like a Chris.
No, he's not a Chris.
He's not a Chris?
No. If he is, it's gonna shock me.
Did I leave the stove on?
Hear us out, and don't be a dickwad.
No screaming, no talking about our mothers. You can talk about my dad. I don't care about that.
Again, like Man of Steel, like with Zack Snyder, good visuals. It's shot interestingly. My biggest issue when it comes to the visuals in this movie, sometimes shit is just too dark to see what the fuck is going on.
Yep. It's in the Batman scenes when this movie, you need a flashlight to see it. Mm-hmm. And I hate that. And I know exactly why he did it, because Batman's the Dark Knight, and he's the darker version of the two.
The effects, I think for the most part, are there. There's a little hit and miss, especially Doomsday. Doomsday just looks bad. I don't like the design, and I get that like he starts looking more and more like Doomsday as the fight goes on, but he still, CGI wise, he still looks pretty bad.
He looks as bad as the new Ninja Turtles.
A lot of movies very computer animated, like
and
assisted.
you can tell.
That's the thing. Like sometimes you can tell. Sometimes it's blended really well.
Mm-hmm.
Weirdly enough, one of the best visual parts of the movie is the opening. Like the flashback of like Batman's origins, even before then, with Batman being in the middle of Metropolis being destroyed. Yeah, it's not all dark and it's like not all like gruesome and everything, but visual wise, it's engaging. There's like a lot of frames in this movie you can take, and you can that not necessarily a poster shot, but it's good enough to be a poster, and that's like Zack Snyder's best quality.
Yeah,
he can make a movie look good.
I just feel like this movie is dated.
Already.
Or it will be dated.
Yes.
Because sorry for this. In like 20 years, Iron Man will still look good. But, okay, maybe not 20, 10.
Well, but I think it'll hold up effects-wise.
Yeah. Like, I can say that, like, the T-Rex from Jurassic Park still looks pretty awesome.
Hmm?
But these are just some certain scenes where I'm like, ooh, that's not going to look good in like 2 years.
Ben Affleck. Batfleck.
I never doubted him as Batman. When the announcement came, I was like, oh, well, cool.
Right.
But everyone was like, no!
Yeah, it was insane. I heard and I was like, that's an interesting choice. But then everyone else was like hating it. I was like, I don't know, the movie's not coming out for like 2 more years. That tends to happen, though.
Yeah.
Michael Keaton went through the same thing.
And so did Heath Ledger.
Heath Ledger's Joker did. I would say Ben Affleck's probably top 2, if not the best on-screen, like, live-action Batman.
But what really convinced me was the 1% chance.
He has the power to wipe out the entire human race, and if we believe there's even a 1% chance that he is our enemy, we have to take it as an absolute certainty.
I was like, okay.
This is crazy. This is old man.
Yeah,
this is all.
You're legit.
This is kooky Batman.
Which that's the kind of Batman I like. Super paranoid for no reason.
I'm kind of mixed on that Batman.
Really?
I mean, because Batman's always has been like kind of like on the paranoid side. That's just kind of his thing. I get why, but for someone who's as thorough and is like thinks stuff out as much as he does, he really doesn't put 2 and 2 together very quickly. One thing in both the theatrical and the Ultimate Edition do very well, they do establish why Batman hates Superman. I'll give the movie that. When it comes to like his character, it's established really well. I think the problem is you completely understand where Batman's coming from, but you don't. But you know Superman's the good guy.
Yeah.
So it's like when the theatrical version came out, and we'll talk about Superman now. The problem now in the Ultimate Edition, the Superman motive makes a little more sense. It starts to make more sense. In the theatrical cut, it doesn't make as much sense. So You side with Superman naturally because you know Batman's wrong. But you don't have any emotional or, like, story reason to want to follow Superman.
Yeah.
You know just because you're an audience member. And I think that's kind of like where the character divide doesn't work very well. Like in Man of Steel, Superman's really boring in this movie. He definitely goes through more in this movie. Yeah. But again, I hate saying, well, Superman needs to smile more. Can he? Or at least emote. The part that like really annoyed me when it came to like a Superman character's moment was the fucking Capitol building blowing up. Mm-hmm. Because the whole thing blows up around him, and what does he look like? He's just neutral face.
He looks constipated. Almost.
Yeah.
He's just like, oh well, that sucks.
And it's called Batman v Superman, but Superman takes a really big backseat to Batman.
That's where my issue comes in with DC, because I guess they just assume that, well, since we already introduced Superman, now we have to introduce Batman. But why not just give Man of Steel, Superman his movie, then Batman his movie, and then lead it up to Batman versus Superman?
The problem that Batman has to take center stage is because you have to give him a background. Mm-hmm. But Batman v Superman could really go into the whole Batman versus Superman way more if they were both established. And it really sucks when the title of the movie really isn't as big of an impact as it's led to believe. Superman and Batman are essentially the same character in this movie. And I think that's where the conflict kind of has a problem. They both have the same problem with each other. Batman hates the fact that Superman can just fly around, do what he wants, he thinks he's above the law. Doesn't Batman go against the law because what he does he thinks is right?
Batman is just a more violent Superman.
And Superman is just a more powerful Batman.
Yeah.
I get where the original conflict comes from, where it's like, well, it's their morals that are different. But in this movie, their morals aren't super established when it comes to, like, why they would hate each other for it. Because they both do the same thing. Again, it makes sense why Batman hates Superman in this movie. It makes more sense later when it's added where it's like, well, Batman basically chooses who lives and who dies. Mm-hmm. Superman kind of does too.
Yeah.
In a different sense.
Or at least he has the power to.
Yeah, he has the power to.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. The Ultimate Edition fixed it up a little bit, and Batman's just kind of okay with death a little more than he normally is. You'd have to change it way more if you're adding that into Batman. Mm. The story can't just be like The Dark Knight Returns.
In The Dark Knight Returns, it's a man just rebelling against the government. Mm. And Superman, being the Boy Scout that he is, put his country before his best friend. Yeah.
It makes more sense in that setup because it is a more classic Superman and a more classic, like, Batman. Amy Adams as Lois Lane. She basically picks up where she left off in Man of Steel, where she basically is just looking for exposition for the audience. Superman saves her. They don't know what to do with her in this movie. I swear, they write the whole movie, and then they were like, oh yeah, Lois Lane's not in here at all, is she? Give her a subplot. You could take Lois Lane out of this movie, and it really wouldn't hurt the film. Mm-hmm. If anything, it would make it flow a little smoother.
I didn't like how much of a damsel in distress they made her seem.
She gets saved 3 times.
Yeah.
3 fucking times.
And I know that's like Superman saying like he will always save Lois. She's the one voice that he can hear out of millions of people.
Right.
But I don't think that works well on the big screen.
Not if it's all in the same movie.
Yeah. She had no character. She was there for exposition. She was there to be saved. Then she was there to give the big reveal at the end. And it's like... Okay.
Lex Luthor is the bad guy in a Superman movie?
Shocker.
Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman.
She's one of the best parts of the movie.
Mm-hmm. I would say she's in the movie for very little, but when she's on screen, especially with Batman... they kill it.
Yeah.
They do really well. They bounce really well off each other.
She does more of a Superman thing than, Superman.
Yeah. She feels more like Superman in this movie than Superman does.
Yeah. Which I guess is why she's the best part of the entire franchise now. They used her wisely. I didn't feel like there wasn't too little of her. I didn't feel like there was too much of her. Mm-hmm. And I felt like she came in the right moment. Too bad that was spoiled in the trailer.
Right.
she with you?
I thought she was with you.
The trailers are what ruined it.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically the second trailer.
Woo!
Fucking Jesse Eisenberg as the Riddler as Lex Luthor. I get it. He's Lex Luthor Jr.
Yeah, that's such a cop-out.
That was!
Like, I bet someone called Zack Snyder. I was like, wait, I don't think people will like this. Oh, okay, it's fine. He's Junior.
Right.
It's not Lex Luthor. It's like, but come on.
Which makes me wonder, like, are we going to see Lex Luthor later then?
He's so unhinged that it's...
Who would do business with a person like this?
Yeah, like the dude
Like, he made...
Jolly Ranchers.
Yes.
Or the dude talking about piss and weird religious paintings. Like, he is unhinged.
He doesn't have money because he's smart. His dad made all the money. He got his dad's money. Because I have no reason to believe Lex could actually do business deals. Because he's smart. But I can't see him being really good at, like, really getting what he wanted.
Unless he just blew people up.
Which he kind of does.
Which, how do you feel about that scene?
That's
like, from a character standpoint.
I mean, that's the thing. He's so over the top and in your face about how crazy he is. Something like that doesn't add anything. Because you're already aware of how fucking crazy and unhinged he is.
Mm.
If he was a more subtle, laid-back businessman, and then it did that, that would be a way better reveal. Because then it's like, this guy's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
He's so laid back, but he blew up a whole Capitol building and murdered hundreds of people. Just so Superman looked bad. That was the plan, and he was willing to kill off his own people to do it. But with this Lex Luthor, he's already crazy all the time. He's always unnerving. So I'm not super shocked he would do something like that. It doesn't throw me off. In the movie I was shocked, but it was for a different reason. And I think Lex Luthor's biggest problem in this movie, one, his plan is just too complex for it to make make any sense. And I get it, he's crazy. It's too perfect. Like, everything's timed way too well, and especially stuff out of his control. A really big issue with it is the fact that he's not threatening. I'm not scared by Lex Luthor. Of course he's not physically threatening. That's usually not Lex's biggest thing. If it really did come down to, like, Lex's smarts versus Superman, there is no, like, there's no weighing it. I don't know, like, do you think maybe if Lex did something himself, would you be more threatened by him? Like, he'd be willing to do something himself? Because the most he does is make Doomsday.
Yeah, or, like, if he had the kryptonite, like, maybe he did a little quick little nick to Superman or something like that. So Superman's like, oh shit, like, I can't
he
touch
can't,
it.
he can't touch it. Even if something goes bad, he's...
Yeah. Could you imagine Lex shoving, like, a kryptonite flavored
Jolly Rancher? No, I want him to.
It's cherry.
Mercy and Jimmy Olsen in this movie. Why? Because they're in the comics? Why is Jimmy Olsen in the movie if you're going to kill him off in 2 minutes? Why? He's an essential part to the comics. So don't just make him a reference. Because that ruins the point. Like, the best thing you have going for it is, like, he's in the comics. Okay, you fucked his character. He's a photographer. But they kill him. Why? I don't know. Because they didn't know how to write him. They didn't know where to actually make him matter. And again, Mercy. What was the point of that? It's a reference. It's a name. But then you kill her off. Not even halfway through the movie. As much as I don't like Papa Kent, he served a story purpose. Mm-hmm. There's a reason why he's that character. Jimmy Olsen could have been literally anyone else. And it would have the same effect. It just doesn't because he's a character. I don't know anything about Jimmy Olsen as a person. I don't know anything about Mercy as a person up to their death. That death doesn't affect me. I think that's like one of Batman vs. Superman's like biggest problem. It chooses to make a reference more than establish. In a movie that it would be really nice if you guys establish some shit. The best action scene in the movie, Batman in the warehouse.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
by far.
It looks like it's straight out of an Arkham movie.
Yeah.
He definitely kills quite a few people there. He punches a guy's head into the ground, and he threw a crate at the dude's head. The shows and the animated shows can do that kind of stuff. But, like, Christian Bale, the Michael Keaton movies, they couldn't really do that because limited by what is capable in live-action movies. Mixing in that CGI helps it flow better. I think it's the better part, like, the CGI stuff that they do.
Yeah.
And it feels like if Batman were to fight, that's how Batman would fight and move.
My favorite part is when Batman hits Superman.
He's like slowly turning, like they make eye contact, and then just tink, and it just flies like 50 feet over and crashes. I like how both parts are basically the same type. It's when Batman like chests up to Superman, and Superman just goes "fuck off" and like barely taps him, and he flies like 100 feet and slides on the ground. Like I audibly laughed. Only one to laugh in the theater, by the way.
Really?
Batman vs Superman: The Fight. I think a movie that is 3 hours long.
Mm-hmm.
The title is called Batman v Superman. Maybe your fight should be longer than 8 minutes. The fight itself isn't bad. It has like its little funny moments to kind of break the tension, and that's fine. I think the problem with the fight is the motivations. In reality, and I know, fuck you for saying in reality in a superhero movie, you need to, whatever. I thought this was a realistic superhero movies we wanted, but when it goes against your point, it doesn't count. Batman's whole plan was to get Superman to the kryptonite spear so he could stab him with it. Superman doesn't know what kryptonite is. Why didn't Batman just have the spear with him? They walk up to each other. Superman's like, oh, I feel funny. And Batman's like, stab. Because Batman just wants to kill him. All Batman wants to do.
Yeah.
Batman thinks of this whole over-the-top, complicated way to, like, beat him. But kryptonite's all you need. He doesn't need to weaken him, and he could have shot him with the gas. The whole setup for the fight just doesn't work because it's like, if Batman's supposed to be the smart one, why does he take so long to try to kill someone who he could kill very easily by having the knowledge advantage? And Superman only fights Batman because he wants to save his mom. And he just doesn't tell Batman, hey, they kidnapped my mom and Lex wants me to kill you, but I want to kill you because I want to save my mom. So we can deal with this later. Help me find her, and you can have this problem in a minute.
Yeah.
That's all I had to do. And yeah, he tries to for like 20 seconds. After he pushes Batman, he's like, you know what, I'm done talking. He's like, why are you done talking? Hold him down and tell him. The fight is like very convoluted on like how it's very forced. That like, okay, the movie's called Batman vs Superman, so they have to fight.
Yeah.
But the way the story was beforehand, it has to construct to get to the fight somehow. But the motivations and the circumstances don't make the fight flow very well, and what happens in the fight itself is entertaining. But if you even step out for a second and think, well, why are they fighting? Ruins the fight. There's little to no action in the movie until like the last like third.
Yeah, it's boring as shit.
Like the movie is literally 2 parts.
Yeah.
It's build up and then a shit ton of fight scenes. And the fight scenes are good for the most part. But you gotta wait an hour and like 40 minutes before you even get a real fight scene. And that's like a long time to wait in like a movie called Batman v Superman. And you know what fight they don't have in the movie? Batman stealing the fucking kryptonite. Wouldn't that been cool to see? But no, we have to cut that part out. Superman bumps him with the car during the car chase action scene. Fine. But then Batman just steals the kryptonite anyway. Why didn't he just steal the kryptonite then?
Yeah.
The whole purpose of that was just like, so, see, they're gonna face off later. It's just a setup. That's it. But it wastes your fucking time because it's like, oh, but darn, Batman didn't get the kryptonite until 5 minutes later when he did. Just wasting time, just setting other shit up.